Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Power Women in Insurance podcast. Today, we are talking to Stacie Cooper, and Stacie Cooper works with Safeco Liberty Mutual, and we are super excited because today we're talking about the agent of the future concept, the program, the inspiration, and we're talking about how you can be able to embrace what Safeco is offering to the agency side so that we can be the agents of the future. So, Stacie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Glad
you
to
know
be
what?
here.
I am super excited. You and I met at a conference. And at that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much information that we need to make sure gets out there, gets really told to the agents. Because I think sometimes agents, when we sit down at our desk in the beginning of the day, right, we are so focused on the phone and the policies. We're so focused on email. We're so focused on being able to get in with our clients and be able to take care of them that we don't always read the emails that come from corporate, or we don't always take part in some of those offerings that they offer because maybe we think, oh, I'll do that next month. And then next month turns into next year and so on and so forth. So, Stacie, tell me a little bit about how you got involved with Safeco and the Agent of the Future program. And we are going to launch right in there. So that way everybody can get to know a little bit more about you and about the product.
Yeah, so I started at Safeco 12 years ago on the Bricks and Clicks program. Like some agents might be very familiar with. So I've essentially been in this role for the entire time. It's evolved, but basically, what I do is I help independent agencies grow their entire agency through digital marketing, relationship marketing, and embracing digital capabilities.
Nice. Nice, but that has really changed. And I think that agency owners get really, or owners and agents, I'm going to say the whole industry, their knees start knocking when people talk about digital, when people start talking about something online and so forth. And I know that there's a great debate out there, right? Is that the quality of clients, if they come in over the internet or Google or this, that, or the other, or if they come directly to you, if they sit at the front of your desk, or if they just talk to you on the phone. How have you seen this program? Because, like you mentioned, it was bricks and clicks for a little bit. I think it was customers for life for a little while about the newsletters and the concepts of being able to maximize your website as well as bring on digital content as well as mailing content and so forth. Tell me a little bit about that evolution of the program and a little bit about what y'all are doing as a team to be able to help agents really embrace the future of where marketing and where agency marketing is really going.
Yeah, so funny. When I first started in the program 12 years ago, and I spent the majority of my time telling agents that they needed an agency website. So thankfully, we've come a long way from that. But basically, we've just evolved into, yeah, we still talk about digital marketing, and we still do consultations with agency partners to analyze their websites and their social media and tell them how they can get found better in search by certain search engine optimization tactics. And we definitely talk to our agency partners about great digital online presence, right? Because you want to be an option when people start that process of looking for the insurance you sell. But then we also, on the flip side, talk to agency partners about retention. So then the importance of communicating with their clients, using marketing automation software in order to make those touch points easier. And we've really evolved into our Agent for the Future initiative. So agentforthefuture.com, that is a website that's open to any agency partner out there, no matter who you're appointed with. And what we've really morphed into is doing lots of research on consumer behavior and finding out what's happening out there so we can then take that information, deliver it to agency partners, and really help them to understand what digital capabilities, what technologies, what marketing tactics they can do in order to capitalize on how people are shopping for insurance, the customer experience they want from their insurance partners, and so that they can thrive and grow.
I think that's really good. So you're what you're really describing is agencies out there. Obviously, I think most insurance agencies have a website at this point of some sort, whether or not it's like a GoDaddy, if they throw something up, right, or they do a template, right? I think most people have gotten to the point where they understand that they need something, right? They need something.
Yep.
And then I think the next phase of that to me is making sure that your website is functioning well, that it's Google searchable. It's going to bring you in at least the fact that people can find it, that it shows up in search rankings. And I think Google My Business and other things like that kind of play into that. Do y'all help agents on that level still? Is that still something, if agents want to start there, that is something that y'all still help with? Is that correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We definitely still, we do a lot of webinars. We, again, in our, conference presentations, as you've seen, we've talked to the agent partners about, yeah, the importance of not only the website, but you mentioned Google business profiles, right? Just as important as an agency website. That can
Yeah.
be a huge driver of traffic, especially the fact that, reviews are on those pages, and that's a great lead
Yes.
generator. So yeah, absolutely still talk about all of that and more.
I love it. I love it. And I think the Google My Business reviews are really, really important. We get on my end, we don't have a ton right now. We have, I think, a good amount for most insurance agencies. We have about 186 reviews, I think, on our Google My Business. And we get all the time. We get leads all the time from our website that come on in and say, well, you had really good reviews on Google. So we decided to be able to give you a shot and be able to do it. So it's not going to guarantee the best clients. It's not going to guarantee a lot, but it opens a door, right? And it opens a door just like going out and doing social media marketing, just like going out and doing regular marketing to local events, networking, those types of things. It opens the door. And what you do with that, I think, is really important. But I want to make sure people know, look at those, make sure that's pretty solid, but just understand it's just a door opener, right? It's just a door opener to get people to come in the door, either on the phone, by email, or through your website, or personally into your office. But it's just a starting point. But from there, though, there's so much additional that we people can do to really maximize that, because that to me is the foundation. If we have to have that to be able to then move into the digital newsletters and the other marketing opportunities. And we're going to talk about some of those other things like video and some of those. But to me, we have to start there to make sure that we have that foundation of being able to be found, because otherwise all the other stuff doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot. It really needs to make sure that it matters, because we have to have that foundation really solid to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing I talk to agency partners about is really differentiating themselves as independent
Oh,
agents,
yeah.
right? Because a lot of consumers don't understand, right, the difference between a captive and an independent agent. And so we guide agency partners to kind of take it one step further with that digital presence and really personalize their websites, right? Showcase your agency brand, as I like to call it. And I feel your agency brand is your staff, your
Yeah.
community. So we talk a lot about personalization, differentiate yourself, really tell that independent agent story, right? That you offer ease, choice, advice. And, because we're a relationship business. So when people do come to your website or these profiles, like, it's really clear that you're different, you're personable, show what you're doing when you're not selling insurance. That's what really resonates with folks.
But really, yeah, like what you're saying though is really bring ourselves. So
Yes.
if people do the Google website, right, or the GoDaddy, right, that's great, but just customize it. Put in pictures of your team, of your staff, things that you're doing during the day, maybe goofing off, at different events, networking, activities, service in the community. A lot of that super important, and I love the fact that you're bringing that up, because I do see so many insurance agents, they want something slick, they want something cool, and they're even paying a good price for their website, but their
Mm-hmm.
website's not working for them, because maybe they're just going with the canned option. It's just the canned template maybe that came with whatever they were subscribing to. They might have made sure that their name and their logo were on there, but and I'm really bad about this, I know. I redid my whole team. I redid my whole business. We've been in business now for going on, we've been in business for 21 years and a half. And I still have some team members that don't even work for me anymore on my website. And I need to clean it up. So, but I think we don't, like I said, we come to work, we focus on policies, we focus on email, we focus on the phone, we focus on our teams, but we don't focus on the website. We don't focus sometimes on that digital presence. So I love that you guys are really focusing in on that for agents. What is the number one objection you usually get for that beginning stage? I mean, do you still get objections on that? Because to me, having a website and a Google My Business is kind of like basic to some degree. Do you still get people that give y'all a little bit of kickback on that, or is that pretty much pretty normal at this point?
No, I think that's a normal concept, right? I feel our agency partners understand that that website is so crucial, right? And the
Yeah.
Google business profile. And once they see how easy it is to do, right? It's just a little bit of time. There are some great vendors in our space. I've seen so many of them come in over the years, and I mean, they're just, they're easy to work with. They're pretty, effective cost. So there's just so many ways agency partners can go. I used to get objection on time, right? I don't have time. I don't have
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So, we talk to, again, vendor partners are out there. Look to your local colleges. Maybe there's some interns that might want to come and work for a few hours to do
Idea.
things
Yeah.
for you. So we just try to make it as easy as possible.
I love that. I love that. So then if we go to the next phase, okay, so say we got all that set up, then how do people, they have a good, say that they have personable pictures on their website, okay, they have activities on their website that show that they're active in their community, that their team has a good personality, those types of things. What is kind of the next stage of being able to kind of get out there and build that digital and that personal presence to be able to get more traction based on your marketing?
Yeah, so same thing goes for social media. So we talk a lot to our folks about, again, putting good personalized content out there, especially on Facebook and Instagram, right? Sharing that community involvement, talking about referral programs, really being personalized to get that engagement, right? Because those tools aren't necessarily lead generators. They could eventually, but really they're there to be more top of mind awareness. You want people to see, like, yes, you're an insurance agency without saying, hi, I sell insurance, and annoying people on those platforms.
Yeah.
And then speaking of referral programs, that's another key component that we see work really, really well for independent agency partners is formalized referral program, like rewarding that behavior of your clients referring people to you. And we take it a step further and say, instead of the $5 or $10 gift card, find charities or nonprofit organizations in your community that you can tie your referral program to. So we see a lot of success of agency partners, for example, having a charity of the quarter, and for every referral they receive, they'll donate. It could be as low as $5, right, to this particular nonprofit in the area, and it really resonates with people. And the thing I like about that tactic the most too is, in turn, then you have something to talk about on your website, in social media,
Yeah.
right? You're talking about, hey, because of your referrals, we were able to donate X amount of dollars to, the local humane society. And the next quarter, we're going to focus on um, this particular nonprofit. So we talk a lot about that with agency partners. I think that's a key component of marketing to really keep that new business coming in. And again, having that tie to community involvement, which is just so important. But I guess I better put my little legal hat on. Referral programs are regulated by the State Department of Insurance. So if anybody
Yes.
wants to do that, and make sure whatever you're going to do flies in your state.
I love it. I love it. And I love what you're saying too about using that information multiple different places, right? Maybe put it in a newsletter if you're doing a newsletter, physical, digital,
Yes.
putting it on your social media, putting it on your website, right? And being able to also send it on out to those clients and saying, thank you very much for being a part of the referral program. And because of you, we were able to help others. And I think that is so beautiful, but also we need to be intentional about not just sending an email to the one client who referred somebody and sending a $25 gift card or whatever the state allows you to be able to do or something, but being able to also put it out and be able to use it also as an opportunity to be able to bless others in the neighborhood or in your community, as well as let others know that you're here and you're there and you're actively participating. That's huge because people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And the people that we know, like, and trust are the people that we see. They're the people that we know about them. We see their faces. We see their activities in our community. And I think that's really huge. People want to be a part of something bigger.
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
Interesting. I love
And I
that.
like that you bring up, newsletters, right? So again, that we talk about those next steps, right? And that's another topic that we're starting to talk about more, right? Agency partners, yes, they understand website, digital presence, social media. Okay. I've created this formalized referral program. Well, great. You got to tell people about it in order for it to work. And so we're now finding that we're talking to a lot of agency partners about marketing automation, right? So these agency management systems that are out there, um, being used by a majority of agency partners have some great capabilities built in. So yeah, talk about, in your newsletters, what you're doing, your referral program, what you're doing in the community, your staff, highlighting staff, send those welcome series when you have new clients. Again, great time to remind them of the formalized referral program. It starts the relationship off right. It informs them what to do, in the matter of a claim. And it's just an additional touch point, right? We have found in our research that agency partners that have multiple touch points with their clients throughout the year, are going to have more new business, and it's going to increase retention. So that's almost that next cycle that we go into.
So, okay, so then multiple touches per year. How many touches and or what kind of touches do y'all usually recommend? Because again, we're busy, right? Like, and I think planning is the key to the B word, right? I think planning is the key, putting it on our calendar, making it a priority, creating space to get these things done. If we just expect it to naturally occur in our day, we're never going to get it done. So as somebody plans, as somebody gets ready, maybe for the second half of the year, as people maybe in September, October start getting really ready to start planning for 2025, how many touch points and what kind of touch points should an agency or an agent be prepared to deliver throughout the year to our clients?
That's a great, great question. I have seen it all over the board. The one stat that sticks out to me is that I believe it was in one of the insurance journal publications, but even agency partners that are, having communication with their clients at least 2 or more times per year are growing 55% more than those that don't, that are
Two
just.
or more that low? Because I would think it'd be like at least one per month.
Yeah. Well, I would say actually, do 4 to 6, or maybe we have seen agency partners that do once a month too. So I always just like to advise, like, start out with something,
Yeah.
find out what resonates with your clients, track, right? Especially if you're sending these through marketing automation or through email, you can see open rates and click rates, and obviously your clients will tell you if they've seen things from you too. So yeah, I was at least, think about, again, maybe a quarterly newsletter just to have it, then that's 4 touch points. Then, think about everybody wants to hear about, get that happy birthday message on their birthday. So that's a great opportunity there as well. I mentioned, welcoming the client when they're just, so having an onboarding series. So that's a touch point. So you can see there, we're starting to get up into that more 6 to 8. Sometimes folks will do monthly newsletters. Again, I am a big fan of tracking. So, look at those metrics, see what's happening when you start to deploy those communications. And going back to the time thing, right? Think about the capabilities you have in your agency management system that can help you do this. So you're only having to program, maybe one time and do a tweak throughout the year, but then these campaigns are just deploying and you're not even having to touch them, just that initial time to put into it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, okay. So as they've got their website set up, they've got their Google My Business set up, and then they are trying to make sure that they also create a digital marketing platform within their agency, right? Asking for referrals, using their CRM system, being able to reach out, say once a quarter. Let's not go crazy with it, especially not in the beginning, right? I think that as we create a habit, right? Like they say, like atomic habits, right? Do one thing and then add one more on, right? And so maybe we start with once a quarter, just doing a newsletter, right? Where we can have CRMs that reach out for birthdays, and then maybe renewal pipelines, to be able to make sure that we do surveys and so forth. I know with our agency, we have a CRM that we have it set up to where they get a survey at least once a year on how are you doing, any changes in your life, those types of things. So from there, because that feels really overwhelming right there. But once you get there, again, your website's going to be pretty, like you set it up and you maybe need to make sure you look at it once a year, right? Once it's set up, it's something that's, you know, it's evergreen to some degree. It isn't something you have to maintain every single day. Same thing with your Google My Business. There's lots of ways to get those reviews, either in your email signature. There's DocuSign or eSign platforms that will request a review at the end of that process. Same thing if you do use a CRM system, it can request a review if somebody renews with you, whatever. So I think all that can automate. I'm really happy about that. You can also build in some of those automations through your systems for those newsletters, right? Maybe you can pre-format them and then schedule them to go out. That way you're not night before, you know, trying to put something together because you have this major like panic going on. That would be me. But you can kind of plan it out, right? Put it on a calendar, pre-schedule it for the year. I love that. What else would you say that we need to do? I know right now in the industry, education is huge. I always say the insurance industry has changed, and it used to be about you, your car, your house, your space, your job, your business. But now it's really gotten into more of what I'm going to call an anthropological concept, where we are looking at what are the trends that happen in your area. If you live near an intersection, maybe that has a lot of accidents or tickets, or you're really close to areas where there's a lot of hail, like I'm in Texas, right? A lot of hail, maybe. You know, we also have to make sure that we do a little bit of education about what they call, you know, how many roofs do you have in a zip code or a territory or an area, because that will change the carriers and how much business they want in certain areas and how hungry they're going to be for growth in certain areas. I think we need to get more education out to our clients about why rates are changing, about loss ratios, and how to be able to attack claims and other things a lot more effectively. How do you see agencies really attacking that conversation with the public? Because I think that's a very large conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah, yeah. We just did a webinar, and we actually have a hard market report at agentforthefuture.com that addressed this. And in the research we did, you know, agency partners were saying, oh, yeah, we're communicating that. But then on the flip side, we're finding it's not resonating with these folks,
Yeah.
or they're not seeing the messages, right? So what I've seen being really effective is, you know, making video. So we've been seeing a lot of agency partners making short videos that talk to what's going on in our industry, why rates are going up, and not making them really long, right? We don't want to lose people's attention. So, you know, just a couple minutes. So we've been seeing agency partners do that, sending out videos so that clients understand what's going on and they're not shocked when they get their renewals. Again, automating that renewal process, you know, again, it helps to educate. But on the flip side, we've also seen that it can help save, you know, hundreds of hours by not doing it manually and increase retention. So yeah, I think, you know, what's the marketing term? 7 times 7 ways, right? So you got to use these multiple mediums to educate. Think about social media. Again, Facebook, LinkedIn, those are great platforms for educating folks. And again, newsletters. And again, I think video is just great too, because, you know, we're all lazy. We'd rather watch a video than read. So you're probably going to catch some attention.
Yeah. And I think too, we don't need to make it really long. And I want to make sure you said this in what you just said, but I want to make sure people know it doesn't have to be like this big, long college course, you know, and
Right.
it could be a minute and a half, 3 minutes. In fact, I always say my number one, this is probably a bad thing to say. I say it all the time though. I don't know why I'm holding back on it, but I always say my favorite concept is be blunt, be brief, be gone. And I'm one of these. I gotta pop, I gotta pop, I gotta pop. And I think a lot of people are like that in today's society. I have things to do. I need to get going. And I don't know how long something's gonna take, or if it's gonna take me over 5 minutes or more, then I really need to think about if I have time for this in this moment in my life. And so I think if people can focus on smaller nuggets of information, it's easier to digest, and you're going to get that repeat viewer because then they're going to be used to that. What is the recommendation that you have for the length of a video to make sure that we capture somebody's attention, but we don't um, over exhaust it to where people like, whatever, I don't have time for this, and then they move on to something else.
Yeah. Our rule of thumb, and this is even for the videos that we produce on educating agency partners, is, maybe keep it to like 2.5 minutes. You might really not want to go over that. And again, that's going to vary on the topic, right? So
Yeah.
something we can get out there quickly. And I love what you said. It doesn't have to be hard. It does not have to be professional. You don't need green screens, right? These cameras on our smartphones are really high quality, super easy. Get a tripod right there at your desk, prop your phone up, take a couple minutes, try it out. So yeah, just very, very brief. Now, another thing we see agency partners doing, which, I thought I'd mention here since we're talking about video, is video proposals. So when you're sending out that quote to the client, right, rather than emailing it and then you're playing phone tag with them, look to video proposal software to put something together. Now that kind of video, of course, you're explaining coverages and things like that. That's going to take a little bit more time, but the client would expect that. They want to understand. But man, I have just seen those revolutionize agencies to where I have agents telling me, ever since I started using video proposals, I have 100% close ratio. So
wow.
Video's awesome for educating. Again, keep those short and sweet because the common consumer isn't excited about insurance, but they need to know. But then, yeah, think about video proposals too on the flip side when you're, looking for sale efficiency tools.
So if somebody wanted to get into video proposals, what type of software should they be looking at? Because you want to make sure it's secure, right? You want to make sure that it's not just out there for everybody to know their coverages and so forth. And in insurance, we do deal sometimes with some personal information, right? Like their personal products, what they do for a living, what the revenue is of a business, those types of things, or even on a personal side, what type of boat they have or what type of jewelry they may have on their homeowner's insurance policy, therefore in their home. How do you deal with that because I think that's one reason that a lot of agents don't embrace that type of a situation is because they're very worried about the security and the privacy.
Yeah, no, I've heard that come as a concern more often lately. There's some great platforms. There's, one that we, again, personally use when we're doing our consultation follow-ups is a company called Loom, Loom.
Okay.
So again, then that's a secure, platform. I've seen agency partners. There are vendors out there that integrate them into agency websites. So
Okay.
That's another way to where then the person's coming into a secured page on the agency's website. But what I'll say, because you're still sending out a link, right? That you can just go and fire it off to a bunch of people, which we have seen as well. But basically having, the verbiage there that this video is intended solely for you, and kind of like we used to do in the old school days, right? You probably still do, right? On our outgoing message and voicemail, coverages can't be bound unless you talk to somebody for those protections. So yeah, I think it's just, having those disclaimers and things like that to have that protection.
I love that. I love that. And I do know that there are certain websites that have some of that video protection with passwords that you have to have a password with it. In fact, I do know also that Loom has an option for a password option too, where it can be locked, and then you can send a password, say in a separate email, to where then it can be customized for the client in that direction. And one thing that I love about Loom is that you can take it and send it out by text message. So you can take that link by Loom, you can send it out by text message, and especially if people are using voice over IP phones or whatever, we use Ring Central. We have a texting option inside of our Ring Central platform. We can text that to the client and say, hey, it was so good to talk to you today. I do have a video proposal for you. I'm going to send you another message with the password, but here's a link. It's going to take you. And I like to be able to tell people ahead of time, this video will take approximately 8 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever, because I think people need to be prepared for it. If I open it and I'm like, oh, this is going to be 8 minutes. I'm like, oh, I don't have time for this right now. But at the same point, when I am at the end of my day and I'm getting ready to go home and maybe I'm waiting on somebody or something like that, I might have 8 minutes where I can do that. So I think being able to prepare the client for this is what it is. This is what we're gonna talk about. And I think just sending the link or sending a generic email with a link sometimes is not as effective. We tried that at one point and we were like, hey, here's a link to the proposal for your insurance. And then we would also attach the quotes to the email, and they would open up the quotes and then send us an email with questions. And we're like, we addressed that in the video. And so I think by being able to say we've answered your questions, or we've answered the most common questions that people ask in the video, we've gone over this for you. We've also asked you a couple of questions here that might need to make sure that are answered. By being able to do some of that tickler, if you will, to introduce the video, I think it gets a much higher open ratio, and it gets people who might not necessarily think about video more open to the idea. So I think when people send those out, people need to be very intentional about getting them open, not just saying, oh, here's a video proposal I sent for you, because people can think it's spam. People can think it's even a phishing thing if it's not personalized, if it's not something they really want to spend the time on, if that makes sense. Because I mean, it's going to take everybody a whole lot longer to open up that PDF, look at the quote, and then go back and forth for 5 days with questions by email or a 30-minute phone call. Whereas if that video automatically takes care of it, a lot of times clients are super happy with that video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So,
and I love that you mentioned, yeah, there's text, there's email. I love the fact that a lot of these platforms will let you know when the person watched the video so that you know when to go follow up with that or answer any other questions. A lot of efficiencies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. So, okay. So people got a website, people got Google My Business, whatever, Yelp, whatever people want to be able to have. Then they have the concept of being able to do some sort of referral partner type thing where they're putting it out on social media. You've got your Facebook page, you've got your Instagram. Then maybe you go to maybe a quarterly newsletter, like a digital newsletter. People don't necessarily even have to mail them out. If you want to mail them out, that's great. I think it's a great way to do things. Again, you have to make sure people open it, right? Depending on how you send it out. So I love that. And then the video proposal thing is just wonderful. And I think that that's really the way that the agent of the future has to go. But what about people who don't want to have their face on the camera all the time? I think people get really scared about that. How do you help agencies get over that portion of that hump?
Yeah, I mean, I guess before the pandemic, I saw that more often. But then when Zoom and Teams and all of this became a part of our life, I've seen that kind of diminish. But we've done this at workshops before, right? Right at the end of the presentation. Okay, everybody, get your phone out right now. Do a candid, just tell, who you are, how long have you been in business, and just do it right here in the room, all of us together. And I think once they do it just that one time and realize, it's not that hard, and everyone else around me is doing it too. So I think that makes them a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we get dressed for work every day, right? So that, I mean, a lot of agencies still have walk-in business, right? So, I mean, if you're willing to sit across the table from somebody or the desk from somebody and be able to explain an insurance policy, why would we not be willing to do it on video? To be able to show our face and to smile and to go over it. To me, if I'm okay with the fact that people are walking in my office, I should be okay with the fact that I show my face on video. But people don't have to show their face on video. Like it's not a deal breaker. I know Loom has the little like circle kind of like, I'm going to do a little video here, like a little thing right here of my video. Okay. Like down in the corner of the video. So it's not like your face is huge on the screen, right? It's not like it's all about you. It's that even if you have your camera on, you're just a little blurb in the corner. And, but again, people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And if they can see your face, statistically, people bond with you a whole lot faster and a whole lot better than they do if it's somebody that they can't see.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely agree.
I think also one of the things I hear a lot about, and tell me what your research shows, is it doesn't have to be perfect.
No, we like to use the term on our team, flossom, right? So
awesome. I like that.
All flossom, right? We're striving to be awesome, but sometimes we're going to be flawed. And I think, consumers out there, I mean, put yourself in your own consumer shoes, right? not everything has to be perfect. I think we trust people if we see more authentic and real. So I always tell an agency partner, I think actually people want to see this side of you, right? Than this buttoned up polish. This industry, used to wear suit and ties and it's really not that way anymore. It's a lot more.
Society's not that way anymore though either. Like
Exactly.
if you go out, my husband, this bothers my husband, but at the same point we do it and we love it. So like we'll go out for a really, really, really nice meal, right? For like an event or whatever, and we'll wear jeans and a nice shirt, right? Back in the day, you would never go out for a fancy meal or a meal of a certain caliber, right? Without a dress, or like we used to use pantyhose, right? We
Yep.
used to wear dresses and nylons and all these things. And now we show up in jeans, or I see people that are in shorts, and there might be nice shorts, but I think as a culture we've changed too. We're not as buttoned up and stuffy as we used to be, even as a culture.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. And I agree with you. I think people want to see real. I think
Yeah,
people want to see who you are. They don't just want to see your produced version of you.
absolutely.
Interesting. Okay. Well, as the Agent of the Future program with Safeco, okay, y'all have so many different aspects. I know you help out with a lot of this marketing, the digital side of things. You also provide a lot of mentorship, a lot of the ability to be able to work with research, what works, what doesn't, thought leadership, how to push towards the future. If people want to be a part of that program, Stacie, how can they be a part of that program?
So agentforthefuture.com is our website. Again, open to any agent that's out there that is not behind a firewall anywhere or in their portals. That is open to everyone. There's a lot of great research there. There's a lot of agency success stories there. So I encourage, go check it out. Go look at the topics and information we're putting out there. For appointed Safeco, Liberty Mutual, state auto agents, we have an advisors page and you'll see all of our faces on it. You can, email us, book time with us. Again, we do agency consultations. So we'll do one-on-one, personalized. Again, we'll do research beforehand to comb through websites. We'll run them through our search score tool. We will analyze our social media, any marketing materials they want to send, and we will, give a good assessment of where they're at and then recommendations on how to get better. We do a lot of webinars throughout the year. So again, I mentioned we did a hard market webinar, which was fantastic. I'm going to be hosting one on July 31st, which really speaks more to marketing automation and really about automating those renewals and the importance of that. And we have a great video library, again, that anybody can go and consume. So lots of great information there. So I just encourage anyone to go, again, agentforthefuture.com. A lot of great resources there.
I love it. I love it. Well, Stacie, thank you so much for your time today and for your service to the community and helping agents to be able to move forward. I always say that one of the things we need to do is become an agent where we are accessible both on multiple different platforms, to where we can make sure that we reach out to the client where the client is, when the client wants to be reached out to, and based on a way that is most comfortable for the client. So I really appreciate you helping us to be able to do that and being a part of the agent for the future. I always say agent of the future, but agent for the future, and what that process looks like. So we appreciate you very much. And thank you so much for being a part of that program.
Thank you so much, Teresa. It's been a pleasure being here. And again, utilize us, reach out.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, this has been another amazing episode of the Power of Women in Insurance podcast. We've been talking to Stacie Cooper with Safeco and the Agent of the Future program, and we are super excited to be able to help your agency grow, your business grow, your book of business grow, and help you to be able to find success and joy inside of this industry. Everybody, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all the different places where you can be able to check out podcasts, because we are there. Everybody, we will talk to you next week, and have a wonderful day.